Hi guys, welcome back once again to the Coffee and Heroes YouTube show. Coming at you a little later than planned this week, but a couple of reasons for that. First of all, you'll notice the new background slightly expanded. We've been doing a little bit of remodeling in the house now that we actually have our house back because we're actually open. So it's been a week of experimenting with the whole click and collect process. We're doing the 3 days a week, just in case you didn't know, so the Monday, the Wednesday and the Saturday. And just want to say a massive thanks to everybody who came out and came down, picked up stuff from their pools, people that got in touch about graphic novels that we had in stock and came down and collected them. It's really, really a good sign for the business that when we do get back to full reopening, that you guys are great, the community's still there. We're very, very blessed to have a great community and a great roster of regular customers who enjoy the store. So again, thanks to everyone who came down. And for those who haven't been down yet, we'll see you soon. But yeah, so we're doing the click and collect side of things. So we're waiting for full disclosure on when we can fully open. That's one of the reasons I held this off until Thursday, because there was announcements due today, but our government being our government, of course, it's been delayed and delayed and delayed. And it seems that most things have actually been leaked by the press rather than them announcing it themselves. But all signs point towards non-essential retail opening on 30th of April. I'd argue we're essential, but that's another story. But yeah, so it looks like it'll be 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks roughly of click and collect. And then after that, it'll be back to, reopening. Now, we're going to have to be very clever about when we do reopen in terms of maximum amount of people in the store. We will encourage masks at all times while you're in the store. It is a smaller space, although arguably there's plenty of space in it, but obviously if it gets a bit crowded, we obviously don't want that. We want people to feel safe and comfortable coming to the store. So we will ask that masks do be worn as much as possible. We will have sanitizing stations still in the store. There's also sanitizing stations at every entrance of Smithfield when you walk into it. So even if you're worried about, extra sanitization, so to speak, you can do that on the way into Smithfield, and then we'll have our own. We'll also have gloves again, you can look through the back stock and so forth. Everything's got its own bag. All of the graphic novels are bagged, all of the single issues are bagged, the omnibuses, etc., etc. So again, we'll be thinking about all that very closely and looking at what the maximum amount of people in store is going to be and so on and so forth. Because we want to encourage the community back. We want to encourage sitting in and chatting and having long discussions about the Snyder Cut that we couldn't have in person, chatting about Falcon Winter Soldier, chatting about upcoming movies, chatting about the latest comic releases and, new announcements and all this kind of stuff. So we really do want to get back to that, but we want to also make sure people feel safe doing that as well. So, but again, click and collect for the next couple of weeks. Just get in touch. Anything we have held over for you can come down and collect. We have the doorway open. There is a little table there. We have it set up so that unfortunately people can't come into the store, but we can still have a quick conversation at the door if there's no one waiting and so forth. So again, it's a step in the right direction, and it's been really encouraging to see the amount of people that have come in so far. So yeah, as I say, I held this off until Thursday because I was hoping for complete confirmation of all this, but of course, again, our government is our government. So. But yeah, again, I'm continuing to load loads of stuff onto the website. The new releases are there for this week. I'm starting to put more and more back stock onto there as well. I figured out a way to do it in the store where I can upload stock on a pretty much a daily basis, even when we reopen. We did receive one last final touch today as well for the store, which is for the new release section, and I'm really happy with it. So looking forward to sharing that with you guys as well. Anyone who's popped down, they've seen some of the improvements we've made to the store, the stock levels going up and so forth. So again, once we get fully open, you can hopefully appreciate all of that as well. So yeah, again, it's the waiting game, but again, it's in the right direction. So, but before I'll move on to news and bits and pieces and all the rest, I'll just take you through sort of the last couple of weeks of comics anyway. We just released last night a new reviews pod, so myself, Keith and Paddy are on that, chatting through our favourite releases of last week, chatting through anything that caught our eye, that kind of thing, and also talking about what we're looking forward to this week. But if you want a more detailed one for the reviews, you can go on to that, but I will just take you through quickly some of the titles we were chatting about. I thought issue 1 of Geiger was fantastic. This is a new Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, and Brad Anderson title. I think it's only going to be a mini-series, maybe 6 issues. but the first issue was great. It is another one of those that unfortunately has become a hot issue really quickly, again showing the importance of pull lists. Again, it's one of the reasons we do the previews pod for this story. We are trying to bring these titles to your attention before they come out so that you don't end up overpaying on them. And this was a 15 quid issue within a day, but I had some that I uploaded on the website, but again, after the annoyance I had at Shadecraft all going to one person, I made sure that it was actually one per person, and I think I'll be doing that moving forward for hotter issues. But yeah, great first issue. I've got second prints reordered. One that seems to have slipped under the radar a little bit, and there are copies of this on the website, highly recommend it if you're a horror fan, is The Silver Coin. So this is a horror anthology series. It's going to be drawn and it's created by Michael Walsh. Every issue is going to be drawn by him, but a different writer on each issue. Chip Zdarsky kicked off the first one. This is a heavily music influenced issue, and it's all about like the change from sort of rock and roll to disco. Really great little period piece, great dark horror in that. Highly recommend that one. My pick of the week last week was Seven Secrets number 7. This was absolutely phenomenal, and it was perfect timing because number 7 is a jumping on point for new readers. I say that because it's the start of a new arc. The graphic novel just came out last week, which has issues 1 to 6 altogether. We've plenty of those in the store. So get on Seven Secrets. It's such a great title. 7 was like a little bit of a breathing space issue before the next main conflict, but at the same point it was so trippy and whimsical and fantasy based. It wasn't what I was expecting, but in the best possible way. So Seven Secrets, get on it if you're not on it. I can't recommend it enough. Another great series I'm always pushing to the hill is Firepower. Robert Kirkman, Chris Samney, we're up to issue 10 now. And every time you think this world has got as big as it can, it continues to get bigger. So yeah, I can't recommend this enough. Firepower is brilliant. You've got the the prologue graphic novel. Then you've got the series starting proper. So we've the first 2 trades in store, and then you can easily get on the singles. I obviously talked about my love before for Noctera. I thought issue 2 was just as good as issue 1. The pre-orders in this are going up every issue so far, so don't miss out. I think we've 1 or 2 first prints left on the website, but really not many. And yeah, this series, I think it's going to be big, and it's only getting bigger by the moment. Kid in Black finished last week as well, number 5. I enjoyed it. I don't think it was earth-shatteringly good, although saying that, Rand Stegman's art was earth-shatteringly good. It was one of the most beautiful looking issues you will ever read from Marvel Comics. Some of the double-page spreads, the imagery, the Avengers Assemble, all those moments are goosebump inducing through the art. I enjoyed the story, don't get me wrong, but it felt a little rushed in the end, which is a strange thing to say about a series that had about 925 tie-ins. But really good series, but yeah, just need that extra issue to breathe, I thought. But nonetheless, very entertaining. Conan 20 was excellent as well. I'm always pushing Conan. It's, great swords and sorcery stuff from Marvel Comics. It's up as far as issue 20. A new series kicked off that spun out of Future State from DC, which was the next Batman Second Son. This is only going to be 4 issues, which is a little bit of a shame because this is going into some origin stuff for the next Batman and how that will eventually happen in Future State. And this was really good, surprisingly good. I thought it would be good, don't get me wrong. It's John Ridley on writing duties, so, Oscar-winning writer. But I'm more of a Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne, that family sort of thing when it comes to Batman. But this picks up on threads in the main Bat story about how Lucius has inherited Wayne's fortune, the responsibilities that come with that. And yeah, just really good family drama in that as well. 2 to finish off with, we have the Swamp Thing number 2. Again, another one for you horror fans. If you really like your dark horror in the DC universe, get on Swampy. Only 2 issues in. It's only going to be 10. And some of the best art from Mike Perkins you will ever see. Ram V writing the hell out of it. So Swamp Thing was great. And then the last one to finish off with, shock horror, is Batman 107. I thought, again, this was awesome. This was very close to my pick of the week. The main story from Tynion, James Tynion IV, and Jorge Jimenez was fantastic. But also the backup story, which focuses on Ghostmaker, was a lot of fun as well. And this was a great example of DC's new format of a main story first, but a backup story to give you that extra value, and it being monthly. So yeah, highly recommend that as well. But as you can see to my right, or your left as you're looking, I have this week's pull as well, and yeah, it's a pretty big one, as every week. First of all, a brand new omnibus that came my way this week, which was Batman Road to No Man's Land. No Man's Land is a great Batman event. It must have been horrible to follow back when it came out, because it was one of those ones that ran across like 15 different titles. But it was all to do with Gotham suffering this huge earthquake and being cut off from the rest of the world. You know, there was certain elements in it that were incorporated into The Dark Knight Rises, for example. But I've never read all the stuff leading up to it, which is what this is, Road to No Man's Land. I have down there on the racks, on my own book racks, No Man's Land, and it's 5 parts of a trade. But I'm really hoping they do a really nice omnibus like this so I can stick it beside it. And then on to the actual new releases of this week. So again, all the new releases are on the website this week, guys, and you can find most of, if not all of them there. So, you know, when it comes to certain issues, it can be hard as a comic store to know how much of something to order. You know, if, say, a series is an 8-issue mini-series and we're at issue 6 and we have 5 people on it, we'll only order 5 copies because no one's going to jump on that series at 6. Whereas if it's a number 1 or a number 2, it's already in the series, you're trying to make sure people can get in at the start, then we'll order plenty of those. But again, I can't emphasize that enough. Pull lists are the way to go. And if you see a title coming out, once we get reopened, you'll have access to the previews books monthly. We do the previews podcast monthly. And I always do a document on the website as well, which will go through it. Also, you know, I know it sounds like a bit of work doing your research, so to speak, but it just means you'll never miss out because comic stores can't just order, 20 of everything, because especially at the moment with, getting everything restarted and so forth, we've got to be really tight with ordering. But anyway, my pull list this week, so we kick things off with Scumbag number 7. Scumbag is a title that is probably the epitome of bad taste, but it always has something interesting to say about the world we live in as well. There's a lot of satire in here. Really interesting main character. He just doesn't care about anything. But it's got some really interesting points in it, and I really recommend the first trade of Scumbags out if you do fancy a bit of catching up. We've got Proctor Valley Road number 2, so really dug issue 1, a new Grant Morrison indie title co-written by Alex Childs, and it's Naomi Franquise on art. All ages tale, bit of dark horror, but I do think it's safe for all ages. And again, I think 1 and 2 are on the website of that. We have Picture of Everything Else. I mean, this is the epitome of what I'm talking about. This is a Vault Comics title. It is thoroughly brilliant. It's 3 issues in, but now it's really hard to get issue 1 and issue 2 because Vault do not do very big print runs. So it might be a case of waiting for trade for titles like this, but I think we did showcase that on the previews pod a while back. Got Paranormal Hitman, so you're up to number 3 of 4 of this. So this is a really fun behemoth title. Basically mixes Ghostbusters with Hitman. So enjoying that. Maniac of New York, we're up to issue 3 of Aftershock's title. And this has been awesome. This is basically, Jason takes Manhattan, but the government know about it and they're like, it's fine. If you live in Manhattan, you might run into a serial killer, but that's the price for living here, sort of thing. So really cool. Guillaume March's indie title, Carmen. This is on issue 2. Issue 1 of this was great. Very whimsical, very Sandman-y, very fantasy-based about someone who dies, and it's all about them being stuck in the world between the real world and the afterlife. Really enjoyed that first issue. Really cool art. Homesick Pirates, number 5. Again, this is another one. This is by Dan Waters, and this is a title that not an awful lot of people seem to be on. I've got the trades pre-ordered. Catch up on it. See if you like stuff like Lock and Key, get on this. This is great. And again, it's one of those little hidden gems that not enough people are reading. We've got a brand new number 1, which is Home. So this is a new Image Comics number 1 by Julio Anta and Anna Wyzek. I haven't tucked into this yet, but it's a new Image number 1, so I'll always give it a go. I spoke highly before about Chariot, which is essentially Drive meets Knight Rider. More do you need to know? Great first issue this, and again, this is AWA, one of my favourite imprints. So we move on now to sort of the Marvel and DC side of things, although I think there might be some, of course there's more indie through that, but yeah, Non-Stop Spider-Man number 2 came out this week. Dug the first issue. Didn't love the first issue, but I did enjoy it, and I'll definitely stick with it for number 2 anyway, and give that a go. We have Maestro War and Pax number 4. So again, this is the mini-series that followed up the main Maestro title by Peter David and Javier Pina. And again, enjoying that. Really, really cool. Got Iron Fist number 4, Heart of the Dragon. This is written by Larry Hama. So again, G.I. Joe, Transformers. He knows his stuff, and this is just a really fun Iron Fist title. So yeah, digging that. I'm going to jump on Guardians of the Galaxy and give it a go. I didn't read Al Ewing's first 12 issues, but this has been put down as a starting point. It's also legacy number in here with 175. But I'm going to give this a go. I like the look of the team on front. You know, I really do have a lot of time for Nova as an example. So I'm going to give that a go and see how I feel and test the theory of jumping on points halfway through series. We've got Fantastic Four number 30. I'm not normally a Fantastic Four kind of guy, although I'm really looking forward to Fantastic Four life story coming up soon. But this is another Keen and Black tie-in, and been collecting all those. So number 30. We have Wonder Woman 771. So Vicky and I both really enjoy Wonder Woman at the moment. We've been collecting it through the variant covers. Joshua Middleton's been doing a really good run of them in variant covers. But Wonder Woman's been really good recently, so it has. So I really recommend getting on it. It's Becky Cloonan on it now and Will Conrad on art. So love that. We got the last issue of Sweet Tooth The Return, which is the remix of Sweet Tooth, which is by by Jeff Lemire. Always get those two mixed up. Very similar writers. So last issue of that. Again, trades will not be far behind. We have the second issue of Superman post Infinite Frontier. So again, although it says issue 30, issue 29 was your jumping on point here. And this is part 2. So Philip Kennedy Johnson on that. Again, I'm not normally a Superman ongoing type of guy. I'll usually go for, you know, Superman miniseries, Superman Up in the Sky, Superman American Aliens, Superman Unchained, Superman for Tomorrow. But I really like Philip Kennedy Johnson as a writer, so I'm going to stick with that for a little while and hopefully it grabs me. With the next issue of Rorschach, so Tom King, Jorge Fornes, we're up as far as issue 7 of 12. If you do listen to the pod, you'll know that certainly for myself and Keith, that's a series that just gets better with every issue. Started off a little slow, but it's really building steam issue to issue. We're up now as far as book 7 of American Vampire 1976, so Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque's horror title. Although I believe, so they're the co-creators of it, but I believe this one's actually going to be split between a couple of artists, which is Francesco Francavilla and Tula Lotte. So again, I'll look forward to that. I think it got expanded by an issue or 2. I think it was originally going to be 7 and now it's going to be 9, so maybe this is like a wee one-shot interlude. We have Challenges of the Super Sons. So this one is by Peter J. Tomasi on writing duties. This was originally a digital first series, and now it's being collected into print, which with some of DC's titles, that's what they've been doing. You know, Paddy and I had a good chat on the recent pod about this, and you know, he says he thinks sometimes digital comics come with a stigma because if they were good enough, they'd be in print. But maybe it's a case of testing the waters. Maybe you can take more risk with digital series. But if they're digital first and then coming to print, that might show that they're easily good enough, had a brilliant reaction, and therefore they're worth being put into print. So it can work both ways, so it can, but I've always loved the Super Sun stuff, so I was always going to get that. Another couple of indie ones then. So we've got Redemption issue 3 of 5. This is Krista Faust on writing and Mike Deodato Jr. on art. So again, this is our Mad Max Western-esque steampunk title. Really, really good. Look forward to every single issue of that. We've got a brand new Cullen Bunn Mark Torres series from Aftershock Comics, which is called Phantom on the Scan. It does look a bit Keanu Reevesy on the cover, it has to be said, but this looks really, really good. This is one we showcased on the pod recently as well, and I'm really looking forward to digging into that. We ordered a few extra copies of that because I think that's going to be another one of those sleeper hits. People come too late, so again on the website. We have Thor number 14, so we're at the end of Prey, which has been an awesome storyline. Donny Cates on writing, Nick Klein on art. So conclusion of that should be good. Definitely one of my most anticipated titles this week, and again, we ordered pretty big on this, is Spider-Man Spider's Shadow. You'll notice this beautifully redesigned What If logo at the top corner, which we also found out that the writer of this, Mr. Chip Zdarsky, he has a background in design and he's an artist as well as a writer, and he designed the logo. So this is essentially what if Peter Parker had, you know, become Venom essentially. 4 issues, really looking forward to digging into that. Couple more to finish, and we have Batman Urban Legends #2. So this is the Batman anthology series. So you have a main story in here again by Chip Zdarsky. Talk about him a lot. So we have Chip Zdarsky on writing for a Batman Red Hood story. And then there's also a great Matthew Rosenberg grifter story that's continuing through this. And then you also have some other stories that make up the full anthology. So a bit more of an expensive on that one, but square bound, and you get, I think it's 64 pages of story. I'm actually missing 2 from my pile here because I realized they're upstairs because I read them last night. So you have Daredevil this week, which was fantastic again. And again, Chip Zdarsky, that name's everywhere. Brilliant issue with Matt Murdock still being in prison. You have Elektra taking on more and more of the mantle of being Daredevil and actually realizing what those responsibilities mean. Brilliant issue. And then the other one I have upstairs is Kanto and the City of Giants. So anyone who watches this or has been to the store, listens to the pod, knows we're huge fans of David M. Bower's and Drew Zucker's Kanto. And this is a 3-issue miniseries that's set between Kanto 2 and Kanto 3. But it was just charming as all hell, adventurous as all hell. Kanto's a little dude with attitude these days. You know, he's settling into the role of being, you know, the savior of his people really well. But not in an arrogant way, just in a sort of like, this is my responsibility, I won't let you down kind of way. But yeah, again, great issue. Then we have Batman the Detective. So this is #1 of 6. This is Tom Taylor's new series, previously called Batman the Dark Knight, which in a weird way I think is a more fitting title. So it's Andy Kubert on art with this one. And Andy Kubert was the artist on Dark Knight 3, Master Race. And this is a lot darker for Tom Taylor. I've already read this, and it's a great story. It's very much a broken Batman. It's a, what have I achieved in my life? I've lost Alfred, I've lost people along the way. And then there's this huge plane crash that happens that it has his fingerprints all over it, shall we say. And he goes off to investigate. It's a European set tale. This was great, like really good as well. So get on that. That's going to be 6 issues in total. And then again, I've already read it, and this will be really hard to beat this week. Joker #2. It's already got the speculators on it. Of course it has, because it has first appearance of a new character, which is a sibling of a villain. I won't go into any more spoilers than that. But this series is brilliant. I mean, when Joker was announced, I think everyone was like, why is Joker getting his own series? This is very much a Commissioner Gordon series, but Joker did appear more in this issue. But there's 2 like earth-shattering moments in this for me. One is to do with the relationship between Gordon and his daughter Barbara, a revelation that comes out there. And the other is the last page, which I'm not going to spoil, but the last page of this had me cheering. It links back to a previous Batman story that I'm a huge fan of, and I'm so glad to see it getting a bit of love again. So this will be hard to beat for this week. And again, get it while you can, guys, because scalpers and speculators and my usual weekly rant about those. So yeah, get on it while you can. But yeah, I'll just go into a few different bits and pieces with news stories. Just a few bits and pieces caught my eye this week. So one of the first things was that long-term legend Peter David, who worked on X Factor for years. I have some of the omnibuses coming in, actually, I believe. He is returning to X Factor as part of the X-Men Legends line. So X-Men Legends is an anthology series which tells in-continuity series, but it allows creators to basically dip into different storylines and expand upon them or tell new stories. So the first couple issues were great, which were Fabian Nicieza, and they were stories based around the Summers family, and they dropped them right in the X-Men sort of animated series continuity, which was great. So Peter David's coming back to X Factor. It's going to be a new arc with the series artist Todd Nauck, and he says it will fill in a missing piece of the X Factor puzzle. Marvel teased in the announcement that it takes place between X Factor 75 and 76 from 1992, hitting that 1992 X-Men sweet spot again, complete with the costumes and personalities that dominated the books during this period. So yeah, it's the first time he's been able to reinsert himself into those 90s, into that 90s period. So yeah, bring it on for that. There was a nice announcement as well this week from Image Comics, specifically the sort of sub-imprint of Image called Skybound, which Robert Kirkman set up. You know, he releases Walking Dead through that, he releases Firepower through that, released Die 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 through that, released Oblivion Song through that, and then there's loads of other Skybound titles as well. but it's hitting its 10th anniversary, and they have decided they're going to do an event, a weekly event called Skybound X. And it's going to have new Rick Grimes stories, and it's going to have new Clementine stories. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, with The Walking Dead, Clementine was a character made famous by the Telltale point-and-click Walking Dead games. She's never been in the comics before, so that alone is quite exciting. So what Kirkman said about this was, surprise, did you really think we would let Skybound's 10-year anniversary pass us by without bringing back some of our favourite characters? We are forever thankful for our community support over the past decade and honoured to share this special series with the larger Skybound family. None of these characters have such monumental journeys without the fans, so Skybound X is for all of you. So again, Kirkman just loves the industry, loves celebrating the industry, loves doing something different all the time. And I mean, the first cover is, I believe it's done by Ryan Otley, and it looks like an almost futuristic Rick Grimes holding almost what looks like a lightsaber with zombies in the background. Yeah, I mean, just to give you the little blurb for the first issue. Celebrate a sensational 10 years of Skybound with a cavalcade of your favourite creators for all new stories of your favourite series, past, present and future. Each issue of this oversized weekly series will kick off with a new chapter of a serialised Walking Dead story, Rick Grimes 2000, by Robert Kirkman and Ryan Otley. In addition, we'll be debuting all new series and characters every issue, starting with the first appearance of the most requested Walking Dead character of all time, Clementine, star of the Telltale Walking Dead series. So yeah, you're going to want to get on this. Again, this sounds like a speculator's dream. It really does. You know, Walking Dead stuff can always go up, especially first appearances within the Walking Dead universe. Clementine coming into this Rick Grimes story. I want to read it just for the story. I don't care about the speculation side of things. But I just like to pre-warn you guys where I can. Get it pre-ordered, because that way you won't fall foul of speculators. An interesting one, just picking up on what I was talking about before, about digital first and, you know, print releases and that kind of thing. Originally, there was a title announced a little while ago called Justice League The Last Ride. Once again, Chip Zdarsky, does that man ever stop working? And it was going to be a series written by Chip, art by Miguel Mendoza, and I think it was Derek Robertson doing covers. So it was originally going to be digital first, but now it's going to be published in print and digital simultaneously on the same day. You know, given that DC have been trying to push people a little bit towards digital, is this, you know, a little bit of a change in the waters? Are we going back to the traditional style of print, getting all the exclusives first? Is the comic running late? You know, we don't know why, but I highly recommend jumping on it, because Chip on Justice League, come on, what more do you need? We spoke a week or two ago about the sale of Action Comics #1 going for a cool $3.25 million. Well, there's an online site called Comic Connect, and they have a lot of Golden Age comics which are at auction right now. There's one of which if any of you guys out there, you know, feel like you love me and you want to buy me a present, Batman #1 graded at 8.0 is currently up for auction on their site. So this is part of a run that some long-term collectors putting up. There's an 8.0 Batman #1, there's an 8.0 Batman #2, there's an 8.5 Batman #3, like just gimme. But at the moment, it is currently sitting at 551,000, $500,000 for Batman #1. And the guide price, so to speak. So every year there's this thing called the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide, and they always estimate what certain issues are worth. So they have a Batman #1 8.0 at about 389,000. So it just shows you how quickly these can go up. Batman #2 is currently sitting at 20 grand. Batman 3 is sitting at 15. Batman 4 is sitting at 11 grand. I mean, there was a Batman #1 a few months ago sold. It was a 9.4, and it sold for 2.2 million. So we'll be really curious to see what the difference in price will be here between an 8.0 and a 9.4. So, just again, if you guys want to start a pull, collect it together, you know where I am. And then just a couple of things to finish off with I thought were pretty cool, sort of movie and TV wise. I saw that, so there's a revival coming up soon of Scream. Now, I love the Scream movies. Let me reiterate, I love the Scream original trilogy. Not a huge fan of #4, but I always thought that Scream was Wes Craven, and, you know, unfortunately he died not too long ago, but, you know, a big property is a big property in Hollywood. They're always going to do something with it. But I like that they're conforming to something Wes Craven did back when he did Scream 2. So when Scream 2 came along, if you can remember these dinosaur days, kids. The internet was in its infancy at that point. But spoilers were starting to come out about a script that Kevin Williamson, the series writer, had written. So he completely changed the whole movie. So what they're actually doing with this new Scream revival, so it's Scream 5, there is a class, I'll see if I can find it and superimpose over the top here. There's a class fan-made poster for Scream 5. But what they're actually doing is they've done multiple versions of the screenplay. They've done multiple versions of the movie. Oh, this is going to be a collector's dream. You thought the Snyder Cut was big? Just wait until you get 5 different versions of Scream. So it's a really cool idea that they're doing as a precautionary method. Obviously, everybody has camera phones these days. Everybody loves to spoil things all over the internet where they can. So I just thought this was really cool, and I have pretty high hopes for this. David Arquette's coming back, former WCW champion. Courtney Cox is coming back. Neve Campbell's coming back. So there's a lot of people are revisiting the roles, and hopefully this will be good and hopefully a bit better than Scream 4. But I'm just going to finish off then today with a few very kind words for the excellence that was Falcon Winter Soldier episode 4 this week. This really is a series that is just getting better and better. And episode 4 took it up another level again. It was quite a quiet, contemplative episode in a lot of places. A lot of sort of talking about the world and about the corporations that run the world and the people that run the world, people in power and how power corrupts. And there was loads of that good stuff, but there was great fighting scenes in it. There was an advancement with advancement towards US Agent, I should say, from the current Captain America. But that ends sort of last couple of minutes. Like, they were just filled with dread, where you were just like, don't do it, don't do it. And then it happened. I'm not going to spoil it, obviously, but if you're not on Falcon Winter Soldier yet, it's 4 episodes in. It's only going to be 6. Why is it only 6? Give us more. But yeah, hopefully it'll come back for volumes along the way, because I'm just a sucker for the spy genre in the Marvel universe, and also Black Widow coming out soon as well. It's right in my wheelhouse. So anyway, that's going to do it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this as always. Hope it's proven useful as always. Again, click and collect for now. As far as April 30th, I wonder if they've actually announced it yet, in the sort of 30 minutes I've been chatting, but I guess we'll find out. But we'll always keep you guys informed. But again, at the moment, just click and collect Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. But anything you guys need, just get in touch. Get in touch through social media platforms, or there's a phone number for the store on the Facebook page. You can call me on a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, or drop us an email, coffeeandheroes@hotmail.com. So anyway, hope you guys are staying safe out there. Brighter days ahead. Take it easy. Oh, and one last thing. People seem to like these little after credit scenes. Well, nice little announcement for you as well. We just finished chatting to one of our favourite comic creators a couple of days ago on the podcast. Good 1.5 hour long interview. Ton of fun. Great creator. No other hints other than that. Okay, just one. They're the artist on one of our favourite Image titles. Keep an eye out for that, guys. Listening back to it at the moment, and it is awesome. So keep it on the podcast, and you'll see that in a few days. Bye.